This is the display method I designed. It displays hexadecimal in the form of digits that are composed of 4 individual binary bits, so that the information can be compressed as much as possible on a pixel screen. Because in Minecraft, you see, you need to take your efficiency where you can get it. And of course, the power of this method of displaying hexadecimal is that it's actually just displaying raw binary in a form that allows it to be read in hexadecimal because of the way it works. Binary and hexadecimal are extremely compatible. And so this can be used without the use of something like a binary to decimal converter, which those things are so inefficient that it will probably be the bottleneck of your computer if you try to actually make one. So it's actually probably preferable to just use hexadecimal as your new numbering system for Minecraft. That is, if you don't want to be pulling hair out the entire time. Although, this isn't very human readable, as I'm sure you're already aware, or at least until you get used to it, which you often do. You mentalize that this is the 1's place, the 2's place, the 4's place, and the 8's place, and you just need to add up all of these pixels to get your digit, and then the next place after that is just whatever that is times 16, and then the one after that is whatever that is times 16. So it follows the same rules as any positional numbering system, which, be thankful it's not Roman numerals or anything like that. The tally system is nice for, I guess, being simple, but try fitting that on a screen. Over here, I've actually been working on some kind of an experimental design. This I've actually ripped directly out of the schematics for a field programmable gate array, FPGA. This is the ROM for programming what this is, and this is what I call a universal gate, a really good name for it, which in reality it's just a lookup table. So you program it with the ROM, and then you read from the ROM with the decoder, and the output is whatever the combination is. And then this is just a quick D flip-flop for the sake of avoiding race conditions. What else? Oh yeah, and holding state temporarily. So how this works is, this is a special design for a D flip-flop that only works because of the weird way that Minecraft does redstone. As you can see, these signals up here are only read by the piston when there's a signal down here, which is the update signal or the clock signal. And so you can use this to sort of program it to be any one of these combinations. But the important part is, you can see here, I've marked what the combinations are as according to these. And so, in this state, this universal gate acts as an XOR gate. However, if I were to reprogram it with these specifications, it will suddenly become an AND gate. And so, this way you can program a logic gate to act whatever way you want, basically at any point. Oh nice, the weather. Ignoring that. There's also just quickly demonstrating there. And so these two clock signals would activate at the same time. And I've actually been trying to sort of streamline this design with some other experiments I've been doing. Over here, this is the ROM that I've been experimenting with, which actually acts a lot more like a register than a ROM now that I look at it. I think this is actually the ROM component, and never mind. So the way this works is it's actually utilizing this special bus design I've made here. As you can see, I'm utilizing the effect of redstone only being able to travel 15 blocks in any cardinal direction, but no further in any other direction. And so you can see you can stack the redstone right next to each other without interference between them, which allows you to carry signals very far in a very small space. And this is a basic junction that I tried to make, but then I also realized that this is unidirectional because of the way repeaters work, unfortunately. And so, because of the unidirectional nature of redstone, it's really hard to make really big designs, which is unfortunate because those are really the only kinds of designs you can make with redstone. And so I utilized this, but later I actually made this injection system for just cutting out all of this band here. And so you can see this is actually the exact same thing as over there, but smaller. Well, arguably smaller. It's not as wide, at least. It's actually exactly half as wide. So, actually not really exactly half. It's from here to here instead of from here to here. Which is something at least. And so you can use this to make an even narrower gate. And that combined with this over here, another design that I just recently found out about from experimenting. This is a decoder that I fit into an even tighter space using the effect of pistons on a one-tick clock cycle toggling their state. And then I just manually change the position of all of these redstone blocks to fit, as you can see. And so, by demonstrating, you can see that it actually has the correct truth table, which means I have successfully compressed what was once this big into a space that is now this big here. And I think it's actually about just as tall as the other one as well. Slightly shorter and much narrower. And so if I were to put the two of these together, their footprint would be almost half of the footprint of this one. And so that would be a good step in the right direction for making something really good. Of course, the problem with a field programmable gate array is that it takes up a lot of space. You need a lot more gates in one of those than you do in an actual processor because of the hyperparallelization, of course. I think that's actually everything there's to show for what I've been working on recently. Now this here is probably actually the biggest revelation so far. The ability to efficiently pack and unpack redstone into about half the space that you normally would with something like this over here. And it's just as efficient as this, only with a great speed boost, because it's not made of just repeaters, which of course have a 1-tick delay minimum per repeater, which is, as I'm sure you're aware, completely unacceptable in almost all cases. The only problem now that I have to figure out is propagating a signal along a giant grid that won't feed back into itself with how these repeaters work. That would be a problem. Probably try to use something else instead.